Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Life with Ann Harder. And today we are going to meet Teresa Jingles, who is PT, DPT. You've got these letters, little alphabet soup behind your name.
I do.
Board certified geriatrics specialist.
I am.
And we're going to talk about Better at Last.
Yes.
So tell me about Better at Last.
Okay. Well, I started Better at Last as an extension of, I've been a practicing physical therapist now for about 12 years. And there was this kind of void that I felt like I was having a recurring conversation with a lot of my older adult patients. And even going back before that, as a granddaughter, I was first a granddaughter and first a daughter. And
Right.
these themes that I kept seeing of people who were aging really well, and what are they doing that I could potentially recreate or get more people on board with. And so in this void of after physical therapy, and people were saying, this is the best that I've felt in 10 years.
Wow.
What do I do now? And there was kind of this, well, I'm not sure. And not that I wasn't sure, it was just I didn't have a soft place for them to land.
Right.
And so Better at Last has become kind of this soft place for people to land. Not that you need physical therapy in order to get to Better at Last, but that's kind of where this all really started, was that conversation of what do I do after physical therapy? And the first initiative has been to really build a relationship with some of our local wellness providers, and with the YMCA and with WRS and the center and the Waco Regional Tennis Center out on Lakeshore Drive, with Titan Fitness, we're starting to build this incredible relationship so that instead of just saying, okay, good luck, here are the places that you could go, and there's lots more. Those are just the bigger ones that already have an older adult kind of population and initiative. And now I can kind of do a handoff and say, here's a personal connection. Here's what they offer. If you live in this area of town, here's a place where you could go. And so that's been really my effort the last few months. We've only been in existence for about 9 months already, and took our first member in June. So it's grown really quickly as the need has proven itself to be really valuable. And yeah, it's just really exciting. So that's kind of where it started, was as a PT, this need to continue to serve older adults even after they needed physical therapy. And then also realizing that I wanted to get the information that I have as a doctorate trained physical therapist and as a board certified geriatrics therapist. I had this wealth of information and research that's coming out. And I was giving it to people on a one-on-one treatment setting, which is incredible, but it was more reactive. And Better at Last also offers this opportunity to educate older adults in a more proactive approach to aging on purpose. And that's one of our themes that you'll see over and over and over again, is that I'm not going to tell you how it looks like for you to age well, but I want you to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't want you to
you
react
are
to it.
Preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
Because
that's kind of
I'm reading
the
some
nutshell.
of the comments, who are just a couple of years older than I am to say, but here's one quote from Diane Holman. She goes, "This has been so enriching. I was getting ahead with my nutrition, but was just worried about my balance." And that's what you reach a certain age, no falls. You do not want to fall. She says, things that used to be easy were getting harder or more uncomfortable. After a couple of hours of training and education, my husband and I began working out with resistance bands and weights and challenging our balance. She says, it's been 2 months. I'm stronger already. I don't worry about falling. I can't beat my grandsons at their games yet, but I am going to keep trying. I mowed the grass the other day. It was easier this year than it was a year or two ago. I'm just so excited about Better at Last and the impact it will have on more people like me. So yeah, she's not waiting to get the broken hip.
Right. That's it.
And have to rehab after that.
It
but
is.
to strengthen,
Everything.
everything.
Yes. And to speak to some more of what Diane was talking about there is we are working on these workshops. We did one in August on balance. And one of the things that people don't realize is that you can strengthen your balance before you lose it. So just like you would work to strengthen muscles,
Yeah.
you need to be challenging your balance as well so that you're continuing to work on the systems that are keeping you upright. And that's kind of part of the education that we're working on is not waiting until you feel unsteady to reach out. But let's start working on it now. I mean, brush your teeth standing on one leg, doing those little things throughout the day. We call it, you know how you have loose change? Well, you have some loose change time throughout the day too. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a lot more extra time in my
Yeah.
day. So if you can find those little ways throughout the day to challenge your balance or work on your strength, obviously we want you really working hard and lifting heavy things if you can, going to a facility and connecting with friends. But there's ways to challenge your balance just throughout the day.
Right, right. I started working with a trainer at WRS.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I told him, and of course I was about 40 at that time, and I said, I want to be playing tennis when I'm 75. I'd see these
Excellent.
75-year-olds still, I mean, whooping me
Yes.
on the tennis court. So all these years we've worked on knee, the things that go out on tennis players, shoulders, elbows,
Hips, knees,
strengthening
ankles,
all this,
absolutely.
and so then we started thinking about it. That was, 30
That's amazing.
years ago, and here I'm on the shouting side of 75, but still playing tennis. And so, yeah, it's
perfect.
great to be active and to see, older adults who are, challenging themselves
Absolutely.
in those ways.
And it doesn't, we're talking about super active and healthy, and that's amazing. But it doesn't mean that you have to have started when you're 40.
Right.
I just turned 41, and I'm a member of Better at Last, and I'm right there with you. I want to
Yeah.
play with my great grandchildren.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a 5 and a 7-year-old, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to do and be. But I don't want to sit on the sidelines. I want to participate.
Right.
But also for anyone who's just saying, I'm weaker than I've ever been. I'm uncomfortable. It's hard for me to move around. Today is the day.
Yeah.
Whatever you do right now, the choices that you're making right now are going to affect you in the future. So you're paying it forward to your future self no matter when you start.
Absolutely.
And so if you want to be better when you're 70, start in your 60s. If you want to be better in your 80s, start now. And so that we're not reacting to, and the trajectory in the U.S. of aging is kind of one of these really sad kind of lines, right?
Yeah.
None of us really
Yeah.
want that. And so if we can change our culture of aging and what it looks like to age well, then we are looking at changing that trajectory so that we are stronger and healthier and the better outcomes along the way. And so I don't know about you, but I'd rather go and then be gone. So
Yeah,
that's the
right,
goal.
Yeah. On the court.
Way, yeah, exactly. Yes. Yep.
Something that has happened to some people, so I don't want to say that too loud. But anyway, so is this a class? Is this a club? What exactly is?
Sure.
Think
Yeah, I
Better
kind of
at
talked about the
Last?
foundation and how we got started. But
Yeah.
so Better at Last is a nonprofit organization. We are a 501c3 and we are membership based. So we're an organization that is inviting members and we are a very low cost membership. It's only $10 a month. And then we'll also have scholarships available if anyone cannot do the $10 a month. And by doing that, what our goal is that we are inviting you to participate. We don't want to just get you with a fire hose of our information. We want you to actively participate in kind of our mission and our goals. And the mission being that we're going to age on purpose. And so if you want to actively choose that, then it is membership based. And the $10 a month is going towards hosting events, getting the experts in so that I know that I'm not the only expert in town, and I'm thrilled that we are going to bring in Elder Law series. We have
good.
Elisa Rainey coming
yeah, I've
next
had her on
week.
this
Yeah.
podcast
Well,
before.
not
Yeah,
next week.
yeah.
Next month, she's
Yeah,
coming in to
good.
talk with
Oh,
our
she's
organization.
wonderful, yeah.
They're amazing, and they specialize in elder law. So that our topic
information.
next month is going to be on fraud, abuse, and exploitation, so that we can prevent all of the things that we just
know.
accidentally click on or answer that phone call
And they're so
speak to it.
devious, and they
Yes.
look so, and it's so easy to be
It is.
fooled by that.
It is.
But over the years of reporting, it would just grieve me to report about some scam, and we would let people
does,
know
and it
about
happens so
but
quick.
still they and they lose thousands of dollars, and it's
It's
yeah.
heartbreaking. So
yeah, so what I was going to say is it's not just the physical body,
Right.
but it's the
Right.
whole person.
It's the whole person, and that's where we're kind of taking these themes of information that we've seen over the years. What does it look like to age well? And it's not just about a stronger physical body, but we're also working on getting us connected to our community. So we are working on outreach and service organizations, so we can be better connected, because we have a large number of people who are retired who are wanting to serve, but they come to me and say, I really want to serve. I just don't know where to start.
Right.
And so we're working to get connected to other nonprofit
That's great.
organizations
Get them
to then
plugged in.
have our members serving others. So
Wonderful.
my parents serve Meals on Wheels, and
Uh-huh.
it's incredible to see the connections that they've made. Even my daughters go with them to help deliver. So there's a generational component
Sure.
there that's amazing, but it's also physical. You're carrying those, my dad's carrying those big heavy coolers,
Right.
getting them in and out of the car, getting the exercise, acting as advocates for other people serves to extend your purpose. And that is one of my true passions, is making sure that older adults know that you have purpose throughout your life. You are called to a
Right.
life, not just a job. And so a lot of times with retirement, we see some
Yeah.
pretty significant changes, and we want to make sure that we are getting people connected
Yeah,
all
there's
the way
some
through.
people who, after retirement, they're just lost.
Disconnected.
And
Yeah.
I have not been since I retired. Hadn't been that way. I mean,
You're
this
here.
has been a big part of it. Yeah, but staying busy, and
Yes.
you can get real busy. I
Yes.
have found.
Yes.
But there are so many needs, and there's so
many
like the
needs.
RSVP program.
Yes, it's
for
amazing.
example.
Yes.
Millions of dollars worth of services are provided by these senior adults
Yes.
who are working in
Yes.
clothing ministries or whatever. You know,
Right.
there are all kinds of places that they can put. So you kind of act like a clearinghouse.
Like
in a way.
we're building a network
Right.
to get older adults better connected to their future, their community, and their future self.
Yeah.
And so, we are building that network. We're also working on a service provider list, similar to what you would see kind of with an Angie's List, so
Oh.
that we want our local businesses and services to be connected to our older adults. One of the big problems as we age is your ability to age in place. And so if there's a time and a place where you need to go to an assisted living or a facility, then by all means. But it's very expensive, and a lot
no
of times
kidding.
people are not looking forward to that.
Right.
And so if we could improve our older adults' ability to safely age in place by getting, so for example, as a physical therapist, if I said, Anne, I really don't think that, because of, and I'm making this up, your cervical extension, you've had surgery or whatever, I don't think that you climbing a ladder is a great idea anymore. I don't think that you have this
Yeah.
capacity.
Right.
And then I don't offer someone to climb that ladder for
Yeah,
you.
to hang the lights or
Then
whatever.
now you're not changing smoke
Right.
detectors. You're not changing
Right,
light bulbs. You're not
exactly.
able to clean the way that you might want to. And so as a service provider, I can say, okay, here within our network
Mm-hmm.
are people who have agreed to serve our older adults with dignity and respect
Good.
without fear of fraud and abuse. So we are working on very slowly growing this list so that when you click on auto mechanic, you can see our local auto mechanics who have agreed to serve our older adults well. AC repairs or attorneys or wellness facilities, even PTOT, hospice, anything like that. We're working on growing that list so that here's a trusted provider at the same time that we're elevating our local community and
That's
our
wonderful.
businesses who really need to be serving our older adults well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
all
another
of this
component.
brings to mind the wonderful Inez Russell and Friends for Life, and how she was seeing the need of, a little lady was sitting in the dark because she couldn't change the light bulb.
Yes.
And so this is going to be an opportunity to have access to
Absolutely.
people that can help.
Yes. And that's it. We want to act as that network to
Yeah.
get the people who can help to the people who may need help. And our members are not necessarily the ones who need help. They can also help others
Right.
and then speak to that as well, that there's a big social component as well. So we're
Oh,
not
no
just going to
kidding.
have, and we
Yeah.
have workshops, and we actually have one tomorrow on arthritis and osteoporosis that I'm presenting on what you can be proactive about or even reactive improving. But a social component so that we're getting together at coffee shops and getting
Good.
together at happy hours or having an instructor teach painting so that as we are retiring from a job that may be our social component and our physical component, that we're addressing those things so that as members, at our last function, we had a group of people who were going to a lecture the next day, and they all kind of connected through Better at Last and met up the next day at a lecture.
Oh, good.
And so offering, Baylor offers a lot of adult lifelong
yeah,
learning.
That's right. I've been a presenter for that for
amazing.
many years.
And
yeah.
there's other opportunities so that we're encouraging our older adults to continue to have that purpose and those connection points when you're not quite sure how to do that.
Yeah, they love that. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about there's a spiritual component to this too. So
Yes.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Sarah,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and
vinyl.
So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Hey y'all, I'm April,
Hi, I'm Caroline.
and we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime,
Rape.
rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
And I'm back with Teresa Jingles, who has pioneered this fabulous group called Better at Last. And as a physical therapist, you deal with the physical attributes of people, helping them. Maybe there's been an injury or something. You worked with these senior adults. Now they're through with their rehab, and they're feeling pretty good. But how do they keep that going? And really, that's how this started.
That's how this started. Correct.
I loved reading some, I just went online and found Better at Last and found all kinds of great comments from folks. But I love this mission statement. The mission of Better at Last is to empower and encourage older adults to live with purpose throughout their lives by building a better connection to their strength and wellness, their community, and their future. And that is just so comprehensive and inspiring. I mean, you got to feel so good about what you've what you've got here so far.
hope
About
so.
how many people are involved now? And it's a membership-based thing.
It is. Mhm.
And so you just let them know if you've got an event coming up, where you're
Right.
meeting, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's very grassroots. This is I've jokingly called it my grandparent adoption program for the last 12 years, and really these are just people who have become friends in the community or at church or
Yeah.
friends of friends. And now, because we've been working on getting connected to the wellness facilities, that's who's hosted our last couple of workshops. So we're kind of tag teaming and reaching out to people. But yeah, we're at 35 members and growing. We've had just a few just this
Well, I
morning.
need to sign up.
I would love it. Yes.
I'm really, really so impressed with what you're doing. This from a 65-year-old, Steve writes, I think of my dad as I read our mission statement, which I just read to you. He was a fan of Isaiah 40:31, they that wait upon the Lord, which is really one of I guess that's my scripture. I love that. As far back as Little League Baseball, he says, I remember him saying, be careful how you're remembered. Being aware and mindful about what you said, did, who you hung with, generally being involved in good things and benefits beyond thought or being remembered in a good way. He never said much, but he lived volumes in these areas. Sometimes I wonder how I'll be remembered, more aware now than in years past. He said, I've got some areas that need to, well, we all have areas that need a lot of work. He said, but living well and striving to be remembered in a good way helps you live with a purpose. Seems like a good way to encourage others to stay connected and live life at a high, enjoyable level, too. I mean, well said, Steve.
Yes.
But, yeah, I mean, that is, as you age, you are getting near the near the end, I'm
Hopefully way out there.
I
Yes.
serve on the Oakwood Cemetery Board, so I mean, I'm busy, planning ahead. But no, there is going to come a time when, as they say, the dash between how are we living the dash
It's the
between our
dash,
birth year
yeah.
and our death year, So that's what this is all about.
It is for me. I just to give a little backstory, that's when I say we, it's because God called me to this. It wasn't my idea. I feel like I'm being trusted with it. I am a very spiritual person and am very thankful for that relationship that I can lean in. But a few years ago, I could tell after my board certification, I kind of felt this current. And I have an incredibly supportive and amazing husband who would listen. Well, maybe it's this. There was this momentum that I could feel, and I could not figure out what the purpose was. And it was a fun experience, by the way. And as things kind of started to take shape, it was, well, is it this? And then that was very clear that it wasn't. Or was it this? No, it wasn't that. And as about a year ago now, I remember things kind of just shifted right into place. And I remember seeing this nonprofit, and for me, it was a kind of that still small voice that said, it's a nonprofit organization and it's a network that you're going to connect with people. And I love people.
Yeah, I can tell that.
And
you have to be, I think, to
So-
work with people like you do as a physical therapist.
Yeah.
I know my mother had gone through physical therapy, and she loved it. She loved her
Good.
physical therapist.
Oh, I'm so
And they
glad.
would encourage her,
Yeah.
and, it was hard work, and she would try,
Yeah.
she loved that
Yes.
relationship. And then I know there's some are like, you can't make me do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure
And
you've
then
had some of
those
those
are my
too.
favorites. I love the good challenge, but it was a calling for me. It's an incredible gift to be trusted with,
Yeah.
to get to serve older adults, and even my daughters are talking about, well, I want to help with Better at Last one day,
Oh,
and
good.
it's become a kind of a family commitment and lots of support. But yeah, I remember getting very, talk about favorite scripture is I felt very much called out of the boat. I was in my very comfortable kind of position, and God called me out of the boat and said, we're doing this. And so I'm swimming along, and every now and then I get to swim up to a safe space and challenge the community to be a part of this so that we can do this better. Right now, if you look at kind of the challenge long term, if you go to the AARP website, you can type in livability index, and Waco's is 46 on a
Oh.
scale of 0 to 100. And so
We're
we
kinda
have
right in
some
the middle.
we have some work to do.
Yeah.
We need to not just tackle, there's a lot of big issues that we need to be tackling for sure, but we need to be sure that we're putting our older adults on the front burner so that we are allowing older adults to serve our community. Because what a great way to elevate the whole place is by serving each other and raising that number. So our goal as a nonprofit long term, as a PT, I'm setting goals all the time. And so one of ours is to raise that by 10 points in the next 10 years if we can, starting to work
what
with the
figures
community.
into that?
All of it. Community, having sidewalks to walk on.
Okay, accessibility
Safe
of
accessibility, connectivity. We're going to work on celebrating milestones. We celebrate kindergarten graduations, and I certainly love those. But why aren't we also celebrating some of those milestones as we age? And doing that together.
Right,
So
right.
safety, community, connection, celebration. Those would all play a role in that.
I know
for sure.
in Woodway there's a lot of discussion now about a senior center and doing something there. I didn't realize that there's apparently not one there. I don't know.
And there's some around for sure. And what does that
I
look
know
like?
the Harrison
Yeah.
Center, I guess in Waco, is
Okay.
it still
It
over
is.
there by the-
I think that's run. And
by the fairgrounds there?
don't quote me on this, but I think it's run by the Meals on Wheels group, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, there are some really wonderful senior centers, and how are we getting the right information to the people who
Right.
need it? And that's working with these nonprofits to get and experts in the community. So it's not just one of our other taglines is we don't need a better online presence, we need to be present. And getting people, especially after the 3 years of COVID, is getting people out again and getting people connected, especially our older adults who may have been impacted the hardest in the shelter-in-place situation that we were all
Well,
under.
they
We've
they
gotta
certainly
get
were the
people
most
back.
vulnerable.
Most vulnerable. Some of them.
And
Yeah.
and frightened, and
Absolutely.
it's easy to just kind of hunker down and say, leave
Yeah.
me alone.
And then with that, as a PT, I saw a sharp decline in function with that. When you sit more, you're losing muscle very quickly, and we have to work hard to get that back up.
Right,
We're
right.
not afraid of hard work. That's what we're after is we want to be working hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. This is really, really wonderful. And again, how do you go? Just sign up online? Is
You
that how
can,
that
yes,
is?
absolutely.
Okay.
So go to our website. It's Better at Last. So BETTERATLAST.org.
.org.
Yes.
Okay.
Or you can reach our main phone number if you don't have a computer. Then give us a call, and our number is 254-203-5015. And you can leave me a message or text that number as well, and I'll make sure that you get connected.
Well, this is great. This is great, and I'm so happy to get to learn more about Better at Last and to just see what the possibilities are, to
Yes.
make those aging years really, really rich,
Yes. Quality.
full, and quality.
Full
yeah.
of quality.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, I like to wrap these up, and if you watched one of these podcasts, you probably are ready for this. She goes, yeah, I think I
ready.
know. Okay, this is my little
think I'm ready.
questionnaire. My little
Okay.
questionnaire, similar to the one that the great James Lipton would use on Inside the Actor Studio. But what is your favorite word?
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's the first word. Joy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But least favorite word?
Oh, hate.
Okay. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I have two: humor
Mhm.
and passion.
Good. Yeah. What turns you off then, creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
Meanness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything mean?
What sound do you love the most?
Ooh. Oh, my girls laughing.
Man,
My
that's
girls
great.
laughing, and they can't. No one can make them laugh the way that they can for each other.
Each other. How
they're-
many years difference?
They're 5 and 7.5, so 2.5 years.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just-
man.
Oof. Yes.
Okay, what sound do you hate?
Oh. I don't know that I have one.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Nothing triggers me. Like
I'm trying to think of some of the funny things. Of course, nails on a blackboard is the first thing I think of.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
no, so,
No, I'm
and sometimes
good.
I say my kids again, but fighting.
That is, oh yeah, that's
Okay.
definitely a good one. Arguing.
So
yes.
you feel called to your work as a physical therapist. What other profession would you like to have tried?
Oh my gosh, in theater.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have been terrible at it. But if I started earlier, I think that I've never been afraid of an audience.
You
know,
seem very comfortable.
I
Yeah.
love the theater. I think that that's just a really fun thing. That would have been a really fun career.
Yeah. What job do you know you would not want to do?
Oh, well, my incredible, well, there's two actually. My dad and my little brother are both wildland firefighters, work for the U.S. Forest Service.
Really?
And
Bless their
so Brian is
hearts.
out west, and I know that sleeping when it's 100 degrees and there's a fire close by
Oh my
and there's
gosh.
snakes and bugs and I love camping, but that just doesn't sound great to me. And he's incredible at it, and now he's
What a
teaching hot
calling.
shots out there. So
Oh,
he's incredible.
wow.
And my mom and sister are both elementary school teachers, and I know that I would not be great at that. And so I
with you
love my
right
5
there.
and 7-year-old,
I
but I
know.
think people who can teach, that's just
That's a
God,
calling
what a gift.
too.
Yeah.
It really good for the good ones. It
So
really,
I
it really
appreciate
is.
those teachers out there, 'cause
Well-
that's a much harder job.
Yeah. My final question: What do you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well done. Yeah.
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 Well,
And
you-
as I'm sprinting.
You are
as I'm
doing it
sprinting in
well
there.
right now, from what I can see. And we have just met. We literally have just met.
Yes.
And I feel like we're friends.
Oh,
and
very
so
good. Me too.
I am really in awe of what you're doing for
Well, thank you.
seniors that are out there, and to make life really rich and full and
I hope so.
healthy.
Yes.
Yeah, in their golden years.
Yes. So join us. I hope that you will.
Okay.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, again, that website is better, BETTERATLAST, betteratLast.org.
That's right.
And I will go on and sign up.
Yay!
Yeah, I just want to hear what all you're doing.
Yes.
So.
And again, we are, I would be in trouble if I didn't say it from our board, but we are donation based as well. So we have a very, very small membership cost. So we are always taking donations, and we are a 501c3. So
It's tax
if you would,
deductible.
that's right, tax deductible. And you can go on our website as well. There's a code right to our local bank.
Oh, good. All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you
Jingles.
for
Thanks
having me.
so
Yes.
much. And thank you for being with us. And we'll see you again next time on Central Texas Life. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.